Today we have to start how to surrender. Introduction, page number 1. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Radhathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Someone will have to help me. How much did we finish last time? There are certain mudras for expressing, like this is submissive attitude. So this is surrender. How? Finally we reach how. So what is surrender? Giving up independence, giving up freedom for a higher cause. Then it becomes actual surrender. Do we have a choice to surrender or to remain independent? We are dependent by nature. The nature of the soul is to love and serve. That's why we cannot be independent. We have to be dependent on something. So why is it difficult to remain detached? Because we are attached by nature. Why is the idea of surrender in the material world very scary, painful and repulsive to us? Because forceful or compulsive surrender is very repulsive to the soul. It's like you think of, a gun pointed at a thief. It's not a very pleasurable thing to do. And also to be controlled is painful in this material world. The other person to whom we have surrendered gets the power to control us. That's a very painful thought also. And why is Krishna asking us to surrender unto him? Mam ekam sharanam vraja. We all are at 18.66. We'll just turn to that and keep that shloka open. 6, yeah. Chapter 18, verse number 66. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Before I start the class, we'll do the shloka. Just remind me in case I forget. If I just go ahead, we'll do the shloka once after recap. So why is Krishna asking us to surrender? Because he promises us to provide complete shelter and protection. Correct? And Krishna has nothing to gain by our surrender. We should understand that. He doesn't have anything to gain. He owns everything. He is the proprietor and controller of everything. If we surrender to him, only we are at gain. Right? What is the inspiration to surrender to Krishna? There are how many? 3 points in that. Number 1, Now, he promises us to relieve us from the sufferings of material existence. Number 2, he takes us back to his spiritual abode, which is the best gift. Number 3, Krishna's personal qualities are a great inspiration to surrender. What are those personal qualities? There are 5 qualities. Number 1, he provides shelter and care, nurturement to devotees. We had the example of Narsimhadev and Prahlad, such a beautiful story of how Prahlad is such a surrendered soul, and every point of his life Narsimhadev always protected him. Number 2, Krishna purifies his devotees from sinful reactions. The best example was Putana, who was not even a devotee. Number 3, Krishna only wants to exchange love with us. He doesn't want anything else from us. Number 4, Krishna offers himself to his devotees. Sometimes even is ready to share his opulences with us. I gave an example of someone getting married to a beautiful girl. They themselves don't become beautiful. In fact, in front of her they look more ugly. Sometimes that happens. But Krishna personally shares his opulences. We had the example of Sudama, who came with nothing. In fact, he didn't even ask Krishna. When he reached Dwarka, he was so enamored by the hospitality of Krishna, by the love and care and such, because he came from such a poor background. This is a king here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He washed his feet, he fed him, he did some, after seeing so much love, after seeing his friend after so long, that Sudama was too enamored. He was thinking, how can I ask him anything? He has given me so much love and affection, and he was returning empty-handed. And then he was, in this anxiety of what will I tell my family, what will I tell my wife, that I didn't ask anything, I didn't get anything. But the point he reached back to his place, he saw that opulences, even more than what the heavenly planets, the king of heavenly planets, Indra has, was already his, without of even him asking for it. Just the exchange of chipped rice. So without even giving anything, Krishna exchanges love with us, and he offers himself to his devotees. Again, there's I gave you the example of Arjun. What did Krishna do for Arjun? He became a chariot driver, almost like a servant. And when the gopis would clap their hands, Krishna would dance for them. When he was a kid, when he was a child. Krishna fulfills desires of his devotees. That's the last and 5th point in his very great, his inspirational qualities. He fulfills the desires of his devotees. He is called Varadraj. And at that point we have to understand that you have to see from Krishna's point of view how he is fulfilling our needs. So question 9. Why does Krishna say Sarva Dharman Parityajya? At this point we will read the shloka. So 3 points we need to cover, then we can go to the next. Why Sarva Dharman? His word. Why Mamekam? Why just? This word. Is that it? I wrote it in very short. Anything I missed? Masrucha means do not violate. Please repeat after me. Sarva Dharman Parityajya.
Sarva Dharman Parityajya.
Mamekam Sharanam Vraja.
Mamekam Sharanam Vraja.
Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo.
Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo.
Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha.
Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha.
Can we read the translation together? Start. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Correct? So the point number 1 that we're going to do today is, why is he saying Sarva Dharman? What does he mean by Sarva Dharman? It means abandon all varieties of religion. So the first point that we'll be doing, is he asking us to be without dharma? Point number 1. Point number 2. what exactly does he mean by what dharma actually means, what he actually means to say. Okay? Next one. Follow the highest dharma of surrender to Krishna. What does Krishna say about dharma? Number one. Now, when we did Journey of Self-Discovery, the very first shloka that we came across was from Mahabharata. Do you remember? Ahara nidra bhaya maitunam cha samanya metat pashubir naranam dharmo itesham adhiko vishesho dharme nahina pashubir samanam. It means that other than ahar, nidra, bhaya and maitunam, that is eating, sleeping, seed, sleeping, eating, enjoyment and defending, other than these four things which is common between humans and animals, there is something which completes a human being. That is ABCD. Remember? Ability for higher inquiry, bliss, choices and determination. That is dharma hi tesham adhiko vishesho. This dharma is something which is adhik, which is extra in human beings. Dharme nahina, that person who is without dharma, pashubir samanam, is as good as a pashu, as good as a animal. So that is what sets us apart. So Krishna is saying sarva dharman parityaja, you abandon all varieties of religion. If we abandon religion, we become like pashu. So what is Krishna telling to do? What is the meaning of the dharma that he is trying to tell us? Now there are many types of dharmas that we follow. Social dharmas, like pati dharma.
Dharma means duty.
Duty. That's right. There are some material dharmas that we do follow. Pati dharma, or dharma of being a citizen of this country, or as humanity. There are some codes for humanity also, like Manu Samhita. The entire Manu Samhita has so many codes of, as a human being, like as a king what you should do, as a husband what you should do, as a wife what are your responsibilities, as a parent what is your responsibilities. So these responsibilities are like the different dharmas that we have to follow in this world. So is Krishna asking us to give up that? No. He's saying that you you understand where they stand, the perspective of that, and then you rise above and understand what is the highest dharma. He's saying abandon, rather than, you remember what Arjun was trying to say. Arjun's dilemma was that, I'm a Kshatriya, I will get so many sins. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun gives various reasons for not fighting the war. Out of compassion. He was saying there's something called compassion, something called daya. How can we kill so many people just because I want a kingdom? That was one of his, out of compassion, the dharma that he was following was compassion, pity, empathy. And number two, he said there will be destruction of dynasties. So many elderly people are here. If they are dead, then what will the younger people, what dharma will be passed on to the younger people? So as a parent he was thinking, as a grandfather he was thinking, correct? And then he was very indecisive. Is this good? If I fight all this war and I get a whole kingdom, my children will be dead here, then whom will I enjoy this? My children will have nothing to do, correct? Because my children will be dead on the battlefield. I'm gambling so many things on this battlefield, correct? And then E stands for, E stands for what? CDEFI. F is fear of sins. He was saying if I kill so many people at one shot, I'll have so many sinful reactions pending. So many men will be killed, the women will become widows, and then their children will be orphaned. So how can we kill so many people on the battlefield? So all these, are they wrong perspectives? No. Is he wrong in thinking like that? No. Yeah, but then what is the problem?
Dharma is to fight being a Kshatriya, no? That is what
Yeah.
he's saying.
But then
First
these
of
are
all,
also his duties as a
these
Kshatriya
are
to
also
find
his
out,
duties.
to see the pros and cons of other aspects.
So he's a king, he's watching as a king, he's watching as a parent, he's watching as... What is happening is, he's getting lost in all these roles that he's playing. What he's not seeing is that what Krishna wants him to do. What is Krishna's point of view? That's where we left from the last point. When Krishna fulfills desires, we have to see from his point of view, why has Krishna arranged this entire battlefield? If Arjun doesn't fight, what will happen?
These guys will take over everything.
And then will it be okay? Will there be unwanted progeny?
Yes.
Yes, with Duryodhan the king, there will definitely be unwanted. Will anyone follow? Exactly. So what did Krishna want him to do? Krishna said, you fight for my pleasure. You don't worry about all these things. These things will automatically be taken care of. And then he started speaking in the Bhagwate Gita. First of all, he said, you're not even in this body. How can you think or how can you get lost in these dharmas? Now, usually I give an example of an artist.
So this is okay because Krishna is saying Arjun that you fight.
Yeah.
So he can surrender. But in day to day, like no, Krishna is coming and telling me.
Then when we come to how to surrender, when we come
we are always confused whether to do this because we are also surrounded by it all. Leave it to him.
That's why he left behind the Bhagavad Gita for us. Yeah? The very point that he caught Arjun is because he knew that everyone is confused. Yeah? Some people think that's what Arjun wanted to do. He wanted to renounce everything and run away. And for him, that was an absolute right thing to do. Everything will be peaceful. Sometimes he feels that if I am dead, everything will be alright. Everyone will be happy. But is this what Krishna wants you to do? No. Your child might think, that today also mujhe school nahi jana. This is the best thing for me. But is this really right? Everyone has their perspective of what is right and what is wrong. But who is really there to decide what is right and what is wrong? Krishna has the best point of view because he can see your past, your present and your future. Arjun couldn't see the future. He was having such a narrow scope of vision. That's what Krishna was saying, that as a human being, because you're so tiny, you will always have a very narrow vision of what you want to do and what is supposed to be done or what is justice or what is injustice or what...
But one thing, when you surrender to Krishna, then it is his duty. You don't get into fighting, you don't get into solving, you don't get into arguments.
We did that in the last 2 classes. That once you surrender to him, he takes care of you. That's what Krishna is saying when we come to Ma Shuchaha. See, that's what I've not put up on the board. The 4th point, he says, do not worry. When we come to the point of how to surrender, we'll be having these points also covered up, what you're just saying, that how can you put so much faith, and that's a process of surrender. That you put faith.
No, I'm not saying that.
But what then should
How do we know?
How do we know?
That comes how to surrender.
When you surrender.
Yeah, we're doing that today. But actually, we'll start today. Yes, sorry.
When you surrender, then you don't get into fighting, and then you don't get into degrading yourself, then you don't get into sorting out. You just leave it to him and let him handle. Then you can't be like Arjun.
Do not worry. It comes in the point of do not worry. Correct? You don't worry about anything then. Right? Sarva Dharman, he doesn't mean that you give up all these dharmas. He didn't tell Arjun that chalo Kshatriya chhod ke become a sannyasi. He said you have to fight. But fight for what? Because you're getting a kingdom? No. Because I want you to fight. This is my desire. When you work according to someone authoritative, that person knows better. Yeah? This is what he's asking to give up. That you give yourself to someone who knows things much better about you. Yeah? Your child will surrender to you when he understands that my mother knows everything about me. She can decide better. And a child is very small. You want to give a medicine, but the child doesn't want to take, so you won't give it? You won't give? You will give, somehow put it in a laddu, pack it in a chapati, or somehow give it. Correct? Because you know this is better for my child. So it's best when the child surrenders to Krishna, surrenders to the parent. So without dharma, this is not what Krishna is saying. He's saying there are a lot of other dharmas, but don't get lost in that. Always remember your Sanatan Dharma, that you are the soul simply playing these roles. Correct? And then Krishna comes to the point of Ma Mekam. He says these words, Ma Mekam, it's to me. In that you have to understand that when a woman, when she is married in a household, what happens? All the relatives of the husband become her relatives overnight. Isn't it? It's an overnight change. Okay? Even if there is courtship, but still that is different from marriage. Even if you understand that, okay, now I have to adapt to this, but unless you don't come and live in the household, you cannot understand what is going to happen. Correct? Ekta can vouch for it, she just married. So then you have to accept. So Krishna says, Mahamekam, that with my relation, when you surrender to me, when you understand my superiority, all the other dharmas that you're supposed to follow, you will get the right perspective to do that. Till then you will simply be lost. It's like you get a map. You know exactly where you're standing, you know exactly where to go. Till the time you're in the city and without a map, you're just lost. You're just, asking someone and doing something someone is saying. But once Krishna lays out map, like when we study in Jivasti, we understand that the scriptures, the words of God are like a map. They are manuals of our life. Correct? They'll give us a proper direction of how to go about, including all the lower dharmas that we are following. I call this a lower dharma because the real identity of the soul is Satchidananda, to be surrendered to the Lord and to follow His dictations. Correct? So after Mahamekam, we come to the point of just. The word just is also highly significant because it indicates the sense of urgency. Krishna can see that how much we are trying to find our way in this world. So He's saying, you just surrender to me. Don't go anywhere else. And then He says, you don't have a doubt also about it. You have faith. This just means, chhod. Come, you just leave everything. You leave all the ifs and buts, put it in a closet, lock it and just surrender unto me. Okay? And then at this point of time, it's almost like begging. Krishna saying, why are you beating your head so much? You just surrender unto me. Correct? And then there's another point. He says that if others who don't surrender, they simply remain beggars of their desires. If they don't surrender to Krishna, they surrender to their desires, which simply gives them that whole cycle of birth and death, and agony and misery, and then again happiness, and then again, that Ferris wheel. Prabhupada always talks about a Ferris wheel, which goes down, and then again goes up, and again goes down. It's like we get the heavenly planets, or very good sukha and some good experience, and again in the next moment we are down in pits, and then again you come up, and again we are down. It's a Ferris wheel going up and down. Correct? So others will remain beggars of their desires eternally. Due to their desires, they will remain beggars of others eternally. Correct? Krishna's devotees may perform activities just like others, but their desires are completely satisfied in the love of Krishna. So why is still there is a fear of surrender? Because we don't know how to surrender. We're just trying different paths. So at this point, do not worry, Ma Shuchaha. These points I've already taken up earlier, but I'll just... One second. Krishna reminds us that our duty is to do our best and leave the rest to Krishna. This is what you were saying. Since we are tiny spirit souls, how much can we choose? Very little. We can choose our response. Can we choose the consequence?
No.
What we can choose is we can choose our responses. Responses means our activities, what we want to desire, and our emotions. Sometimes something happens, you can either choose to be extremely sad and depressed about it, or you choose to move on. That is our choice. Means actually we have a very limited choice. So Krishna is saying, you have very little choice to make. So why are you worrying? Let me make the choices for you. Correct? So based on our free will, we have very little choice. The reactions of those activities are beyond our power. But those reactions are under the control of Krishna. That is what we need to understand. Once I've already done the activity, the reaction is not in my hand. But the reaction is in whose hand? It's in Krishna's hands. Surrendering to Him, or when He says do not worry, He says sinful reactions are in my hands. If you're worrying that your dynasty will be destroyed, if you're worrying that my child will be neglected, if you're worrying about this, about that, let Krishna take care of that. If you turn to chapter 9 verse number 11, There's a very beautiful point Krishna makes.
Having on iPad.
Sorry?
You can have it on
Yeah. iBooks. There's something called iBooks.
Okay. Yeah.
So in that you can download.
The same Bhagwate.
Same thing. I'll give you the Sushila Mataji. She'll give you the link
Yeah. It is so I just
from iTunes. You can download. Is it there? 9.11? Oh, I'm sorry. It's 10.11. Sorry. It's 10.11.
Then is our description of that. No, 11 is
It starts from halfway. 10.11.
Is that 9.11?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. It's 10.11. तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः नाशामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. What does it mean? Can everyone read together?
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in our hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
Yeah, so Krishna is personally doing it. Them means what? If you go to the previous translation, you'll see. To those who are conscious, can you see that? Those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Correct? And then in the next verse he says that personally what does he do? He's sitting in our heart. He burns that ignorance in that heart with the shining lamp of knowledge. Yeah, so what have we to do? Gather as much knowledge? No, it's given by Krishna. All the mehnat Krishna is doing, what do we have to do? Simply desire to surrender. In fact, not even surrender, simply desire to surrender. Because if we simply desire, things start working. Like the other day, Premis was saying that desire is something like a subtle form of prayer. It's a prayer. When you desire something, it's like a prayer that, aise ho jaye. So if you simply desire to surrender, if you simply desire, chanting hota hi nahi hai. If you simply have that desire that, something should happen, then everything starts falling in place. Correct? So we stop this point here. Why to surrender? Can I write down points about how to surrender? Please. What ho gaya why to surrender?
Yeah, how to surrender?
How to surrender? Unless we don't understand why to surrender, how to surrender will be. See, I'm so lazy. I'm going to release only this part. You all turn to chapter 7, verse number 14. I raised this, how to surrender, and I made it day 1. Because we're starting it today. 14. Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Maeva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Translation, everyone together.
This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond
Yeah,
it.
because we're such tiny spirit souls. If we try to overcome Maya by ourselves, what happens? It's Krishna saying it's difficult. It's my Maya. Devi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya. He's saying this is my Maya. This is my external energy. It's very difficult to overcome. For a prisoner to get out of a very tight prison is extremely difficult to overcome. Yeah, but if the owner, the king says, Chalo bahar jao, what happens? The prison can never catch you anymore. So this shloka also, we'll see the first part of why to surrender with this shloka that shows the need for surrender. Why we need to surrender to Krishna? Because only He can drag us out of the material existence, out of Maya's clutches. So last time we saw last 2 sections and plus half section of this we did need to surrender. And now Lord Krishna demands that the surrender should be exclusive. just, he says. Ma Shucha, he says. Something to be done without fear. So surrender is urgent and it is our interest. Therefore, now Krishna is saying it for our welfare. Pleasure of this world is nectar in beginning but poison later. Therefore, the process of surrender in this world is very scary. Any demand of surrender is seen as infringement on our free will, coupled with bondage and suffering. But spiritual surrender is something different. It's extremely sweet, but it takes some endeavor. Yeah? That is what we're going to understand and how to surrender. Yeah? So I'll quickly write some things down. There's a shloka, a couple of things I need to write down. So I'll start. Anukulyasya Sankalpa. This is from Nectar of Devotion. It's a shloka by Rupa Goswami who enunciates how exactly you need to surrender. There is Shad Vidhi or 6 points of how to surrender. Anukulyasya Sankalpa. This is point 1, point 2. I'll go wrong with the spelling, I better see. Pratikul Yasya Varjanam. Now this is a shloka, I've put it in a point format to show that there are 6 points. Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Pratikulyasya Varjanam. This is one line. Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Pratikulyasya Varjanam Rakshishyati Vishvaso Goptritve Varanam Tatha. This is second line. Rakshishyati Vishvaso Goptritve Varanam Tatha. Last line. Atma Nikshepa Karpanya Shadvidha Sharanagati. Shad means 6. Vidha means points or ways. 6 points or 6 ways to do it. Sharanagati is surrender. Okay? So 6 ways to surrender is this 6 points. So this is one line. Atma Nikshepa Karpanye Shadvidha Sharanagatihi. This is one line. 4 lines. 3 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First point is Anukulyasya Sankalpa. What I'll do is I'll write all the translations of this on this side. Wherever there's Krishna consciousness, I'll write KC. Shortcut. Okay? So first, Anukulyasya Sankalpaha means accept things favorable to Krishna consciousness. That's the first point of surrender. Pratikulyasya. What is the opposite of Anukul? Pratikul. Pratikulyasya Varjana means reject things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. Again, KC. KC means Krishna consciousness. Okay? So first 2 points are pretty simple. It's the first line of the shloka. Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulyasya Varjana means accept things which is favorable to Krishna consciousness, reject things which are unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. So Rupa Goswami has made it very simple. How to surrender. Accept things favorable to Krishna consciousness, reject things unfavorable. Point 3 will be the second line of the shloka. What do you think it is? Rakshishyati iti vishvaso goptritve varanam tatha. This has got to do...
Protect me from...
Yeah. To have a firm faith in Krishna's protection. Keep Vishwas or keep faith in Krishna's protection. Rakshishyati iti vishvaso goptritve varanam tatha. What Vishwas we should have? In Krishna's protection. Have firm faith in Krishna's protection. Fourth, to have firm faith that Krishna is our real maintainer. Goptritve varanam tatha. Also, that he is our real maintainer. Maintainer. Atma Nikshepa Karpanye Shadvidha Sharanagati. What is Atma Nikshepa?
Without any Vikshepa means
To always,
problems,
sorry?
problems, na? Vikshepa.
To always depend on Krishna. Atma means yourself, to surrender. You always depend on Krishna for everything. Those are actually, I don't know what they called.
When you
In dictionary
don't
language.
write H, those dots.
We don't write.
Yeah. This means re. This means sure. This means no.
No.
And if you see the dictionary, you'll find all the words are usually written in
Why
this.
Krishna spelling is always K-R-S-N now here and otherwise it is K-R-I-S-H-N.
Actually, the thing is that
Sanskrit to
internationally,
English, when it's Sanskrit to English, then they write this because these dots are it's only S ना dot करते ही श हो गया.
Sure.
र खाली हाँ री हो गया.
if we write it that Krishna,
Only
even
Sanskrit
internationally, people have a very different pronunciation.
Why?
Yeah, the way we pronounce C, the way we pronounce K, the way we pronounce J, V is all different. Internationally, if you go to German, the way they pronounce V is fur.
That's, Volkswagen is not Volkswagen. It's
Volkswagen.
It's Volkswagen.
So when you put this, then it gives everyone an accurate way of how it
Internationally,
is.
this is more, the dots are
This is in dictionary. This is dictionary way of writing words. So no one goes wrong in the pronunciation.
Sanskrit to English.
That also, it's actually Sanskrit. It's a Sanskrit word.
Yeah,
That's why
it's a
we don't
Sanskrit
have.
word,
Yeah. Krishna is a Sanskrit word. To always think of oneself. Karpanye means always think. So what is Shadvidha Sharanagati? Can we read what is on the English part on the board? Start. Accept things favorable to Krishna consciousness. Reject things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. To have firm faith in Krishna's protection. To have firm faith in our real maintainer. To always depend on Krishna. To always think of oneself as very lowly, meek and a humble servant of Krishna. These are the 6 ways, practical ways of how you can surrender. Now, how do we know what is favorable and unfavorable for Krishna? What does it actually mean to have faith in Krishna's protection? What does it actually mean to, I can't start thinking that, okay, this Krishna is giving me this. What does it mean to actually think that we need some examples? And how to depend on Krishna. And how can you always think that I am lowly? Yeah. If you actually read, just yesterday we were singing this song, Amar Jivan Sada Pape Rata. It's a bhajan written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is the guru is the father of Prabhupada's guru. He was there around the 18th century. He was a British magistrate in Calcutta. Very successful person. And he had 10 children. And he was pure devotee. He's in our life, his name is there in that line. Remember that parampara I showed you? With starting with Krishna down to Prabhupada, the entire disciplic succession, you will see this name, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He has written beautiful bhajans for Krishna. And in this, he writes one bhajan, Amar Jivan Sada Paperati. He said that, Nahika Punyera Lesh. Lesh means, not even a dot of punya. I am so sinful. And he's written this entire song. He says that when others are happy, I become sad. When I see, the happiness of others. And the things he has written, oh my God, you will just, if you simply apply it to yourself, you feel, oh God, this is my story. This is completely my story. It's beautiful. We discuss it whenever we have time. We'll discuss that part. It's very beautiful. And in that consciousness, what happens? If you simply think of if someone materialistic things like that, they'll become like depressed. So depressed, they'll have to take depression pills. You see in depression cases, they think like that, that I am of no use. This is not the thing. To think that I am very humble in a way that I am insignificant and Krishna is significant. The rule of this material world is that opposites attract. If I think I am very great, I am very proud, will I get attracted to Krishna who is great? That was the problem with the demons. They could never think that someone is greater than us. That's why they could never surrender to Krishna, even though seeing his immense power. Even Hiranyakashipu saw Narsimhadev. When a devotee sees Krishna, what happens? So much of love. But when he could see Narsimhadev, there was no love. There was envy, there was jealousy, he was thinking, how can there be someone greater than me? Opposites attract. If we think we are humble, if we think we are very, insignificant, who will we attract? Someone who is very great. Krishna. Krishna becomes very attracted when we think that he is great and we are small. But sometimes people might think, that means he's very egoistic and, how can he make us think like that? But actually we are very tiny. We are how tiny are we? We are 1/10,000th tip of the hair. He's our maintainer. That's why we put this point in the end. After realizing that how much Krishna's protection we need, how much of his maintenance we need, how much we have to depend on Krishna for every minute detail. I'll show you how. If you turn to 15th chapter, before the 14, Gama Vishya Cha Bhutani is 15.16. मुझे भी देखना पड़ेगा.
नहीं. Vimo Purusho Lokesh.
Dvavimau?
Dvavimo Purusho.
Where is Gama Vishya Cha Bhutani? Can you see? I can't remember there. It must be previous then. Just check 16.13. 16.13. One three. Dharayami Hamojasa. Krishnani Chashudis. 16th chapter, verse number 12. 13, sorry. I'll just take this one. 15 chapter. Did I say 16 chapter? 15 chapter, no?
15.4.
644.
644.
Just go to the 12th one first. 15.12. Just go to 15.12. 1, 2. Yadaditya, is it that?
Yeah.
Yadaditya Gatam Tejo. Can you read the translation, everyone? No, go to Yadaditya.
The splendor of the sun,
which displays the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me.
Yeah, the sun and moon are from him. Next shloka.
I enter.
I enter each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables.
What's orbit also? Next.
I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the 4 kinds of foodstuff.
You see how he's maintaining us? Even tiny details like digestion we can't do ourselves in this material body.
What is 4 kinds of food stuff?
The ones which are chewed, licked, sucked and drunk. These are all foodstuffs fall under these 4 categories. If there's anything else, it's nonsense.
Chewed, licked,
It's there in the purport.
and drunk.
It's there in the purport. In the purport you will find. In the first few lines on it is there, I think. It's there? 4 kinds of foodstuffs. Chewed, licked. Hai. Dekha tha maine. Some yuga I had seen. But that was yuga, no?
Drunk, chewed, licked, and some are sucked. Again,
Huh?
some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked, and some are sucked.
Last line it is.
Yeah.
Okay, can we come back to this? So even in any material endeavor, suppose if you have to learn piano, if you have to learn something in sports, you have to excel. You have to do some disciplinary things, accept some things, reject some things. Even for business, people have to travel so much, even though they won't like it. But to earn money, you have to accept some austerities, give up some things, give up sometimes leisure. Correct? Your wife, husband comes tired, very home, and the wife says, I want to go out. It's not a very good thing, but when they love the wife, they want to do it. Yeah? When the baby is crying a lot, what happens even if the mother is very busy, she has to give that up and attend to the child. Now, is it like a burden? No, you do it out of love. The husband does it out of love. Correct? So even the guru, when the guru orders, the disciple does, even if it is a troublesome thing to do. Why? It's out of love and respect for the guru. So even for material endeavors, we have to do certain things. Imagine for sports, it's so strict. You can't eat certain foodstuffs. Correct? Very fatty. If you're learning some vocal cords, then you have to give up ice cream and pickles and all these things which are not very good for the throat. Even for material endeavors, we have to do so many adjustments. So even in this endeavor, we have these 6 things we need to follow. Accept favorable things, reject unfavorable things, firm faith, Krishna's protection, firm faith that he is our real maintainer, always depend on Krishna, always think of oneself as lowly, meek and a humble servant of Krishna. So next class what we're going to do, we go into details of everything. This class we'll go details of only first point. What are favorable things in Krishna consciousness? So I keep that point and I erase the rest. Now just turn to chapter 6 verse number 24. Chapter 6, I think it's Dhyan Yoga, is it? The chapter? Verse number 24. In that verse there is one small shloka in the purport. 24. 6.24. 24. I'll write here.
295.
In the purport, where Prabhupada's purport is there, in the first paragraph there is one shloka. Utsaha nishchaya dhairya tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga sato vritte shadbhir bhakti prasidhyati. Can we read the translation? I don't know if it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
One can execute the process of bhakti yoga successfully,
full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and determination by following all the prescribed duties in the association of devotees and by engaging completely in activities of goodness.
You see, things which are favorable for bhakti. Now that shloka, this shloka is from NOD, this shloka is from NOI, Shikshamrit. NOI, nectar of instruction. This is nectar of devotion, this is nectar of instruction. There are many books which Rupa Goswami has written. This is a very big book. This is nectar of instruction. Nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion. You read nectar of instruction first, then you come to this. Nectar of instruction is a tiny book. Updeshamrit it's called.
I also started reading
NOD, na?
It's difficult to understand.
It's Hari Bol. So I'll write those words. Utsahan. Second word is Nishchayat. Fourth word is Dhairyat. Tat karma pravartanat. It's pravartanat, na?
Pravartana.
Oh, you're writing, okay. Sangatyaga, sato vritte.
These are all the favorable.
These are all the favorable. The spelling of vritte,
TTEH. There is a dot under the R and H.
When we were giving exams, you had to give exams for this book, NOD and NOI both. Very good book. Beautiful book.
There are two books, Nectarian Ocean and Nectar of Devotion. There are two.
Nectarian Ocean of Holy Name is written by Sachinandan Maharaj. That's Prabhupada's disciple. This is Goswami, Rupa Goswami. This is an Acharya and the line of disciples. Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction. That's a blue book, no? Nectar and Ocean of Holy Name. Very nice. It's about japa. It's only about japa. So I'll just number it. Utsahan, Nishchayat, Dhairyat, Fourth is Tat Karma Pravartana. Sixth is Sanga Tyaga. Just below it I'll write the English translations of it. Okay?
Six is where?
Sorry, that's six. Supposed to be six. This is fifth, no? Yeah. Utsahan means being enthusiastic. Nishchayat is patience and determination. First point, quick recap I'll do. How to surrender? We have 6 points. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam, goptritva varanam tatha, atmanikshepa, karpanya, shadvida sharanagati. So in that first point is accept things favorable to Krishna consciousness. That is what we have expanded. We've taken a shloka from Nectar of Instruction. There are 6 points under that too. Utsahat, Nishchayat, Dharyat, fourth is Tat Karma Pravartana, Sanga Tyaga, Sato Vritte. Just 1 second. We'll see what it means. Sato Vritte, following footsteps of previous acharyas. That we're already doing, we're already learning what Rupa Goswami has told us. Okay. These 6 points we'll expand on each next time.